Hello again, Sean Scorvo for HD23 here. Today we're going to explore why politicians tend to fail in times of crisis. Obviously a pretty weighty and actually complex issue. Let's take a closer look. Our current political situation is the end result of 75 years of ideological us versus them politics. A person could make the point that what we're seeing now isn't really new. It happened in the 1850s, 1860s, 1890s, 1920s. But today we don't have the accumulation of 10, 20, or even 30 years of zero-sum party politics. We have 75. And some would even say more like 80 years of it. And that kind of accumulated dysfunction does not disappear overnight. It's really no wonder then when we have people, because they've never known anything different, that think this is what politics is all about. They have a belief that for me to win, you have to lose. They'll stubbornly say, no problem here, simply because acknowledging there is a problem means they lost. They'll say that a problem with a solution that they didn't come up with is the same as saying you win and I lose. So when we see elected officials gaslighting each other, we shouldn't be surprised. When we see bills rush through at the federal or state level because of a logic that says, I have to win now or my window of opportunity is gone, we shouldn't be surprised. When we see clickbait put out on social media instead of thoughtful consideration of what is happening and what can be done about it, we shouldn't be surprised. When we hear the White House say that taxpayer purchased materials in the Strategic Federal Reserve belong to them and that states in disaster areas don't have a right to request them, it's the equivalent of, thanks for the marbles, I'm taking them over here and you can't have them for the reasons I convinced you to buy them for me. We shouldn't be surprised. When we're in the midst of a crisis and our elected leaders can't get out of that mindset, we shouldn't be surprised. They've never known anything else. The only thing they do know is if you lose, I win, and if I win, you lose. And you can't expect them to change now. Before anyone starts pointing fingers at the opposite political party, remember, every voter in the nation, right and left, has contributed to our current situation. We've consistently elected the more extreme version of the zero-sum politician so that our tribe could win. We've consistently gone for the business person whose sole focus is to win, regardless of the human cost, over the nonprofit leader trying to do good and minimize the human cost. We've consistently voted for the candidate able to deliver the best debate one-liner over the person with substance. We've consistently told ourselves it was okay for us to vote for the equivalent of sociopaths because as long as our sociopath is more ruthless than yours, we win. Our current political situation is just the cherry on top of a rotten sundae we have all had a hand in making. Now, we shouldn't be surprised at all. We should, however, be disgusted by where it's led us. We should be angry at politicians doubling down on the bull instead of acting like adults, admitting when they're wrong, rolling up their sleeves to get things done for the betterment of their constituents. We should demand someone do something. Well, I agree. And at the end of the day, I decided I couldn't look myself in the mirror if I wasn't willing to be that someone. And now for the million-dollar question. How are you, Sean, not just a different flavor of politician? How do we know you'll lead, not follow? How do we know you'll stand up against party politics, regardless of whether it's Republican or Democrat? How do we know you will, that you're able to tackle 80 years worth of political cancer, right and left? How do we know that you aren't just telling us what you think we want to hear? For that answer, you'll have to wait until the next video. Thank you.